Hello Year 3 and 4, and this is your walkthrough lesson for your arithmetic today. So I'm going to start by going through the challenge section with you and then a quick walk through number 1 on the right hand side, and then the rest will be showing you the answers. So make sure you pause when I ask you to pause so that you don't reveal the answers before you've had a go at trying the questions. So challenge section time. So again, if you don't want my help with this one, that's absolutely fine. You can pause the video now and have a go before I start talking you through it. If you want to go through it with me, then great, stay and listen to the rest of the lesson. So question 1, Whitney thinks the place value grid is showing the number 8. Now the number 8, if we took the number 8 as it is, which section of the place value grid would we put it into? The hundreds, the tens, or the ones? Pause the video now and have a think about where you would put that number 8. Okay, so now let's have a look at where they've actually put the counters. So where did you think the number 8 should have been? Well done. In the ones column, where have they placed the counters? So it's asking you, do you agree? Explain why. So that is part 1 of the question. You need to explain whether you agree and why. So you would say the following: I agree because, or I don't agree because. So have a look at where this is placed. If there are 8 counters in the hundreds column, what number is that making? Is it just 8? Pause the video now and have a think. Now we're moving on to part 2. So there are quite a lot of steps to this problem solving question today. Using all of the counters, what is the smallest number you can make? So which column represents the smallest type of number? Which one in the place value chart? Hundreds, tens, or ones? Pause the video now and think about where you could put all of those counters to make the smallest number. Would it be in one column? Would you spread them across? How could you make the smallest number? Okay, and then part 3 of the question. What other numbers could you make? Now, before we've talked about tackling a question systematically. So if you think you've got 8 counters here, what other numbers could you make? You could draw yourself a hundreds, tens and ones chart on a piece of paper and then think about where you could place each of the counters. So if I draw mine now, so here's my basic place value grid. I've got 8 counters to use. So I might you could start with the counters in the same place as the ones above. You could start with it in the hundreds column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there's your first number. Now if we're thinking systematically, that's about moving it with a system. So you could move one counter at a time into maybe the tens column first, move all of them but one into the tens column. Then you could think about moving them all to the ones column one by one, and you'd make lots of numbers that way, or you could start with all of your counters in the ones column. You need to pause the video now and have a think about what system you're going to use to make the other numbers. So this could be a chance for you to use paper as well as your portfolio post to come up with the other numbers that you could make. Now let's move on to the right hand side. So if you're not ready for this right hand side, don't worry, pause the video now and go back through what I've just talked through so that you can have a full go at each part of this question. So number 1 on the right hand side, 3,456 add something equals 3,562. This is a missing number question. So if you want to pause the video now and have a think about missing number questions, you may already have a strategy to answer this one. So when we look at a missing number question, we think about the difference between the smaller number here and the answer that we have. So what's the missing number in the middle? To find the difference between these two, what do you have to do? Some of the children in my class will know when I talk about difference, we know that that means we need to subtract. Brilliant. So we're going to think about subtracting the smaller number from the larger number. So have a go at doing 3,562, take away 3,456. Remember, there are a couple of strategies to help us subtract. I want you to pause the video now and think about the different strategies that we know in order to help us find the difference or to subtract. So here's a recap of the two methods for those of you that may have forgotten. So we can use the column subtraction method to work out the answer, or you can use the method of the number line to count on to find the difference. So remember the rule for the number line approach, we're looking for the nearest tens number first and then carry on doing your jumps. Okay, so question 2 is a straightforward subtraction. Number 3 says the following: 16 shared by 4. That word shared, what is it asking you to do? Is it an add, subtract, multiplication or division? Pause the video now and have a think. And question number 4, 30 multiplied by 10. The word multiplied, what is it asking you to do? And thank you for joining me for this small walkthrough of question 1 on the challenge section and question 1 on the right hand side. Enjoy the rest of your arithmetic learning.